Show. This is a special non-Campea edition, though. John is under the weather, so it is I, Chris Carr, who's going to be your host today, talking about movies, movie news, TV, streaming, all sorts of good stuff, giving you some opinions that we all have, so you can formulate your own as we go through the topics today. But, of course, I am not joined. I am not here by myself. We're off to a great start. We're here with some other people. We got Ray Ora here.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
We got Jonathan Boyko here. I know.
Hi.
I know. If only there was a professional here to do stuff.
I mean, I wouldn't
If
do it any
only.
better than so I can't judge you.
Well, we're going to talk about a whole bunch of things today, guys. And thank you for being here, because we can't have these conversations without you. Otherwise, it's just the three of us shooting the shit and not filming stuff. So thanks for giving us purpose. Oh, glorious purpose. Now, while you're here, there's a couple things you can do for us. You can be listening to us in podcast form. That's the way this is intended to be reviewed. And if you do listen to us, go give us a rating over there. We would love to see some more stars. We would love to have that go up, 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 up. So thank you
Just
very,
don't
very
rate
much.
us today.
Yeah.
Based on today's show.
Based on my opening. Or unless you love this chaotic energy of Chris trying her best last
Chaos
minute.
theory.
Yeah. Let's jump into things, though. Our first topic is actually from our Mint Mobile hotline. And this lovely listener is asking us if Spider-Verse 3 could join the $1 billion club. Let's check it out.
Hey, John and crew, this is Keith from Chicago. I was calling to talk about Spider-Verse. The first Into the Spider-Verse movie made $385 million, and Across the Spider-Verse made $663 million. They were both nominated for Best Animated Picture at the Oscars, so with all that buzz and with the upward trajectory, do you think that maybe the next one can make $1 billion at the box office and maybe even get another nomination? Let us know your thoughts. Thank you.
Thanks, Keith, for sending that in. We appreciate it. So the big question here, can Spider-Verse, the third installment of it, make that billion? All the noises.
All the noises.
Can it make the $1 billion club? And as Keith astutely pointed out here, too, these movies have been doubling their box office revenue. We started around that 380 mark. We jumped up to 663, I believe, from our global box office with Across. So could this next movie cross that 900 echelon and make it to the $1 billion club? It would be in very elite company.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know what? It's going to make more than this last film for sure.
Yeah?
Billion? It's hard to tell. Like
Yeah, the question is, has it found all of its new viewers, or because then they probably go on and tell their friends or whatever, and then it also depends on repeat. Ultimately, is the story good? Is it as good as part one and part two? Because then part two was even better than part one, I felt like. So if the story is more compelling, and then again, just the word of mouth. Does it have enough draw now? Are people like, oh yes, part three is coming out, we can't wait? $1 billion is hard. I mean, we can look here, Chris. You got the top 11 $1 billion films. I mean, The Lion King and Frozen 2 there made a big leap.
Still confused about The Lion King.
But I am actually surprised that Zootopia was $1 billion. I didn't think it had that much hype, but apparently.
Oh, yeah, Zootopia was huge.
I loved it.
That
I'm
one
not knocking
blew
it,
up,
but
yeah. But we've got Zootopia, Finding Dory, Despicable Me 3, Toy Story 3, Toy Story 4, Minions, Incredibles 2, Frozen, the Super Mario Brothers movie, Frozen 2, and then still king of this list, The Lion King.
Yeah.
The one by Jon Favreau, though, we should point out, not the one from the 90s, both considered animated films. So it is
and
a
we
big
see it number
stretch.
28. So look,
Yeah.
that means it's got to go from this last one that made $690 million. The 28th spot, it needs to jump up to the 11th spot.
what did this last one make?
About 600 and...
Yeah, I just had it here. It was
690.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna say this: if this third film is better than the previous two, it deserves to make $1 billion. But I'm gonna possibly put it at 800.
I
probably
honestly,
about
I'm like, if it gets 900, that's great. But I'm like 850.
because we knew a couple people who actually watched the film and then went back and watched it right after. They enjoyed this last film that much. I mean, you had multiple
Oh,
viewings,
yeah.
right?
I went multiple times.
Even though I felt like watching it more times, I've only watched it once. So maybe this third film, which is supposed to wrap up the whole story, if it ends in such a fantastic way, we could get a lot of those multiple viewers going back and seeing this film and bringing it. But I don't think it's gonna hit $1 billion. I just don't. It just doesn't feel even with like the no Marvel movies, only one releasing next year. I hope it does, but
See, that's why I think it will. I think the box office is so just dry next year. We have so few
Desperate for
movies coming
content.
out that people are going to be seeing movies, good movies, multiple times. I do think we can at least expect it to double since we had that before, right? So that $900 mark, I think, is something feasible here. But because of what we have coming into the box office, I could see it doing really well. That being said, though, you know, hanging out with Amy Newman this week.
Oh,
Let her know that you said
yeah.
happy birthday.
Amy.
We were talking when we were doing a podcast together about just how, you know, for her, the first Spider-Verse movie was practically perfect. And the second one for her felt overstuffed and had so many people in it, and it didn't have a satisfying conclusion for her. Some other people I know felt that way too. So you might have some people who go, yeah, I want to know that conclusion, but will it satisfy me like that first film did? So it is a pretty mixed bag.
I feel the same way that she does, but I did love the music more in the second film than I did in the first. I thought the soundtrack was way better with Metro Boomin behind that thing. It's such a good soundtrack.
I just felt too what they did with the animation. It was another step up, and the first one was great, and this was a even bigger step up.
Yeah.
to me.
And the ball's just gonna keep rolling for this film. Like after the first one, which is what made 400.
It was
400,000?
3 something.
or 3 something. Word of mouth, and then maybe
384.
word of mouth from this last film gets it more.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. Well, that first Spider-Verse movie really too found its footing once it was on streaming. That's when a lot of people discovered
Yeah,
it.
obviously a lot of because it was only 380 that a lot of people didn't go see it. I was like, this is so good.
Yeah.
We won't have any
So they
Spider.
they definitely brought their friends for part 2.
Yeah.
You know.
And we won't have any Spider-Man films, like at least with that character next year either. So
Yeah, we're not
people
seeing
love
Tom
Spider-Man.
pop up.
People come out for Spider-Man.
For sure they
Anything
do.
Spider-Man related, except what's coming up, Madam Web?
Madam Web.
Well, there's no Spider-Man.
There's
in
no
it, though.
Spider-Man in it.
There
yeah.
is a Spider-Man.
Well, he's something. I don't know what he is.
He's not Spider-Man.
Let's say that. Let's ask one more
Spider
question.
assassin
Yeah.
or something.
Like Madam Web, like if these become like box office duds, will it affect this movie? I don't think it would, right? It
No.
kind of stands on its
I feel
own.
like those are
Yeah.
independent. I don't even think people associate the
No.
two. Half the people probably don't even realize that one's Sony, one isn't. That's number one. Just general audiences.
I think,
mean,
yeah,
not
outside of
like-
our bubble.
Not like saying our bubble or whatever, but
Yeah.
half the audiences, and they're not going to be like, well, Sony put this out, but then this one, so I'm not going to go see this Sony produce. They hold these in two separate realms.
For sure.
So.
Well, and I feel like some of those other movies too, right, are also, it's so many of the tertiary characters, right? Because we've talked about before those original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, right? Amazing Spider-Man 1, the Sony PlayStation game, which is one of the best Spider-Man stories ever.
Right.
Like those things I think are all really firing on all cylinders. And I feel like, you know, the Morbiuses, the Madam Webs, which I still need to see till I can actually judge it. Same with Craven. But I feel like these, because they are the rogues gallery, but also not necessarily wildly mainstream characters to most general audiences. I feel like there is that kind of separation.
Okay.
But that also might be, again, in my little comic book LA bubble.
Yeah, let's just hope they don't rush to the finish line on this one. I mean, let's take
Yeah.
care of this third film.
Well, take care of the
Make
art.
sure it's right.
And take
Take
care
care
of
of the
artists.
artists too, because
Yeah,
they
take
were.
care of the artist.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, guys, question is for you. Do you think Spider-Man 3, Spider-Verse 3, I should say, is going to make it into that $1 billion club? Let us know your thoughts. All right, with that down, y'all, let's move on to our next topic. All right, recently it was announced that we're getting more 28 years stuff, or 28 days, 28 weeks. Now, 28 years later, we are revisiting this zombie franchise, finally. And we're going to have Danny Boyle redoing this film.
Yeah, and Alex Garland
Mm-hmm.
back at the helm and writing. I think what's interesting about this though is that they keep talking about it as a sequel. Even in this article, it keeps talking about, well, you know, they won the bidding war to the rights
Sony
to
did.
the
Yeah.
So
sequel
it lands at
package.
Sony.
Yeah, to the 2002 horror classic 28 Days Later. I'm like, okay, well, they don't mention 28 weeks later until
Yeah.
way down here. They're like, of course there was 28 weeks later right here. There was this.
Yeah.
There was 2000. That's all it said about it. So I'm wondering if, because Danny Boyle's back at the helm and the writer and Cillian Murphy, if they're kind of pulling up a Halloween where Halloween 2 didn't exist
Yep.
and 3 and all those
We
others.
just kind of retcon a few things.
Yeah. And it's like, What's interesting though is that they're holding on with the naming scheme. I mean, how else would you do it? But it says in the article they originally were going to do 28 months later, but they felt like so many years had passed. But
Yeah.
it would be almost 28 years now. Mm-hmm. So they would just call it 28 years.
Yeah.
But it's almost like it was 28 days later, 28 years later, because it does not seem like they're like even acknowledging.
Okay, that is what I wanted to talk to you about too, because I am not nearly as familiar with this franchise, right? You guys know that horror is a big gap in my nerd knowledge, just because it's something I don't gravitate towards. Do really enjoy zombie fare. It's just
Yeah.
something I typically have to watch at home, feeling safe and in a
Sure.
snuggie.
And this one is like, this is like running zombies. It's not
Exactly. They're like cockroaches, and I hate that movement. I hate a fast zombie. It freaks me out. It feels unnatural. A slow lumbering zombie, completely natural to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But those speedy ones, they mess me up. Now, of course, the other thing here too is Cillian Murphy is involved in this project.
Yes.
I really hope he's in
But
it.
we don't know if he's actually acting in it so far. I feel like that's part of the draw here, though.
Yeah, that would get me in the seat if he's actually in the film, because I remember watching the first film. I remember going into it going like, I just want to have some stupid zombie fun. But when it ended, I was like, this was a way better movie than I expected
It was better than it had any right to be. That's
yeah,
for sure,
and I thought it was just going to be some popcorn.
Danny Boyle's an amazing director, so it didn't surprise me, but yeah.
And it would just be interesting to see after he killed it in Oppenheimer.
Cockroaches
He's
running
just
over there.
become
Speedy.
he's just become one of the supreme actors that we have right now.
Oh, absolutely.
And just to see him go back to this would be interesting to see what he brings back to this franchise from how he's grown as an actor.
Sure.
Will he bring that, or will he go back to, green Cillian Murphy and like try to play onto that? I really hope he's a part of this film. That's the only way I'm going to go see it.
I don't see him signing on as an executive producer and not having a role in this film.
It's just because it's been so far from these previous two films.
Well, we know of him now, and even with Peaky Blinders and whatever, yeah.
Yeah, I just think I hope it's just not too late to bring this franchise back.
Well,
I can barely remember the first film. I know
You gotta
I
go back and
remember
watch
liking it because I remember turning to whoever I watched it with at that time. I was like, that was actually way better.
No, it
than
was excellent. I mean, I saw it. I remember seeing it in theaters. I saw the second one too.
Oh,
Whoa.
Sorry, apparently I'm playing some music. I have no idea what just happened.
We
but I'm
just
turning our
transported
speakers
I love
off.
that we had like an ASMR storm happening.
Yeah, it is raining here, but I didn't
raining
realize
so
it was
bad
raining in the
here.
office. Anyway, I have no idea what that was. What was I saying? That threw me off.
I don't know. You're
you-
no.
I
Oh,
think
okay.
Peaky
So
Blinders and things.
28 weeks later, it does follow a different crew. So you
This is
could
true.
say if this was following Cillian Murphy's story, that this is the actual sequel to the first one.
I do wonder if 28 weeks later was also, and again, this as speculation as somebody who's not familiar with the franchise, if it was one of those things where it was a script shoehorned to fit the franchise of, hey, here's another zombie movie, let's put it part of this universe. Kind of like how we've had that with some of the Indiana Jones properties of, hey, let's just make this an Indiana Jones movie. Or, hey, why don't we just make this kind of thing?
Oh man, I wish I remembered. I think I watched it. I know I watched the first one.
Oh,
for
the
sure.
Weeks. I mean, the Weeks wasn't as good. And someone was mentioning like they're not real zombies. No, I know. They're not the undead. They have a virus.
Yeah.
And they even established in 28 weeks later, they have to eat. They will starve and die.
Yeah.
So it's not like they go on living forever like in what do you call it? I want to say Uncharted, The Last of Us.
The Last of Us or
where,
Walking Dead.
Yeah, they're kept alive. Like, yes, they will die off and everything like that. So there are nuances to it, but essentially they are rabid humans coming to kill you. It's
Zombie is the shorthand here.
yeah.
And you know what? If there was a bidding war, if there was actually a
Yeah, it
bidding
came
war
down
for
to
the
Warner.
rights,
It came down to Warner Brothers and Sony.
let's do it then. Fine.
And-
If they thought it was worth putting money into, then you know what?
One
Let's
thing
do it.
that it also mentioned is Danny Boyle, and I just lost the writer's name.
Alex Garland.
Yeah, they stipulated they want this going to film, to cinema.
Yeah.
So I hope they don't pull an Amazon and send it
Yoink
to
it.
streaming
Yeah.
anyway. You know what I mean?
It'd
Well,
be so foolish.
I
It'd be
know.
so
I'm
foolish.
getting so sick of these.
Well,
like,
Sony doesn't have a streaming service, so
no, but if they license it out,
Oh,
it would
right.
be, it'd be foolish. I think they'd honor that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Guys, what do you think? Are you excited about 28 years later? Do you think Cillian Murphy's going to be in it? Or is this sequel way too late? Also, 28 weeks later, WTF, where's that? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Alrighty, with that down, let's move on to this quick little topic. Next on Netflix, there's a great little trailer, a little sizzle reel, if you will, that came out for all the 2024 content that Netflix is going to be churning out for you. Didn't see a lot of Christmas movies in there, so I'm not super plus.
Christmas movies.
Christmas movies. But there is a lot of tasty content in here that looks really great. And to be fair, that's what a sizzle package is supposed to do.
Sure.
It's supposed to get you excited. But there's some fun things in here. What were some things you guys like?
Well, first of all, everything looked high quality in the sizzle reel. Like it looked like even the shows that they showed in this reel looked like they were meant for the theater. Like just the shot, like the quality wise, I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but I just thought, wow, there's not one of these things that I don't see on a big screen. Even like
definitely
the shows
doesn't have streaming budget smell to it, right?
Yeah, like they cleaned it up really well. I unfortunately for Netflix, a lot of their big titles aren't of interest to me. I'm sorry.
Well, they kind of earned that because a lot of times they've released things and it's like, well, that was a dud.
I was never a Beverly Hills Cop guy. I mean, I love Eddie Murphy, but that just wasn't sort of my thing. I am interested in the 3-body problem. Is that what it is?
3-body problem, yes.
And I hate to say it, but that Jennifer Lopez Atlas with the ship in space, whatever, I'm going to read up more about that.
You're a space guy.
Yeah.
That's your jam.
And then the Squid, I keep trying to call it Suicide Game, but it's
basically
Squid Game. I never saw the first season.
All right.
Ooh.
So the hype around that, people who watched the first season, must be crazy.
Oh yeah.
You know, so I got to go back and watch that.
I feel like that's why that's a decided mic drop moment in
Yeah,
this when you
and
pan
it
around.
didn't hit
It was
for
like
me.
the final,
Yeah.
one of the final shots.
Yeah, they
sure.
saved that for the final ending. I was like, I wish I was on this train right now.
I'm with you, Ray. I bailed on that show just because some of the violence in it. I went,
Oh, really?
I can't watch
so
this.
you gave it a shot.
I started to watch it, and then there were some my things and things. I went, I'll come back to this at some point, and I never did, and I missed all the hype on it.
Yeah, okay.
So I had that moment too.
What else did you guys find?
Well, this one I'm kind of looking forward to, Griselda,
Yeah.
because
that a
she's
series?
like a this is where she's a almost like a narco boss. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And we were talking about it briefly yesterday. I only have hope in this because how well Netflix has treated Narcos and Narcos Mexico.
Yeah.
Those are some of their best content. I put that in their top 10 content, you know? So I'm hoping they kind of give this that same treatment,
Yeah.
you know? And this is kind of a role that Sophia doesn't normally go for, right?
Absolutely.
Based on a true
And
story?
she, based on a true story, looks like she absolutely fully commits to this too, and just is the absolute boss in this, which is very, very powerful.
I mean,
and
I'm a fan. I know
exciting.
John is not a fan, but
Yeah.
this is kind of funny. Final season, I didn't realize that. So they stopped milking it. I'm actually like 2 seasons behind, even though I really
what?
like it.
What is this?
Cobra Kai.
Okay.
And so final season, that's always good for,
Yeah.
some cheap laughs. you
And
know, it's fun.
I
couple final seasons happen.
Yeah,
there's
because
Umbrella Academy.
Umbrella Academy. Yeah. I think that's proven itself to be quality.
Absolutely.
So I'm not so worried about that. Then we have the Beverly Hills Cop. Now I know Ray had mentioned he's not really into that lore.
I'll watch it, but
lore of
yeah.
like the buddy cop,
Yeah,
whatever.
well,
But
I'm just not. That's just not my thing.
yeah, if you're not into like the Lethal Weapons and Beverly Hills Cops thing,
Which is funny because all the ones I have seen, I didn't think were bad. I actually thought, hey, that's not a bad film. But it was never enough. That genre is never enough for me to keep following it.
I will say that although it's all member berries, it's all this guy, this woman, this person. For some reason, on Axel Foley on Beverly Hills Cop, I give it a full pass because we panned it on Ghostbusters, but I don't know why. But maybe I just give it a pass. I just kind of want to revisit these characters.
That's fair. I got so excited in Ghostbusters of seeing everybody.
I didn't mind it
heck
as
yeah.
much either. Ray was borderline angry.
Oh, really?
And
You were
John
mad when Pencil Dick showed up in the trailer?
John didn't like it.
Oh,
He
I
wasn't
loved
going
it.
for
Ghostbusters. No, the only thing I just wish they just laid more heavily into the new Ghostbusters
Fair.
that I actually like the McKenna Grace character.
They
a
may
lot.
do that
Yeah.
more for like a part 3 if they get.
Yeah,
a part 3.
sure. Her wittiness in that first one, I was like, have her in everything, every
Great.
movie. Doesn't
and
matter.
she did the song at the end of the movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's a little multi-talented lady.
But then yeah.
But anyways, we're getting off.
But
this
also,
ain't
I mean,
enough.
we've all talked about 3-body problem. I know you and Rob have
Yes.
kind of.
There's a big mystery about that. I don't want to read too much into it because I want the show to tell me what it's about.
Yeah.
Because it's like a sort of like a supernatural or like a sci-fi
Alien,
It's a
yeah,
sci-fi
yeah,
thing,
yeah.
Oh, that's
Well, and-
that's yeah.
This is one too. So this is based on a book, and this is one that I'm going to wait on the book till after the series because my friends who have read it too have said they have no idea how this got adapted. Where it was, this feels like something that's going to be so difficult to put on screen
So
and
you're
have
gonna watch
the payoff.
first, then if you like
So,
it
yeah,
enough, you'll
I wanna
read
watch
after.
it first.
That's usually my way of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I would say, I don't know anything about like Black Doves. It does, just from like the few seconds we got, it has a feel of maybe a Slow Horses kind of thing from
Yeah.
Apple TV. It feels like Netflix is kind of now competing with Apple TV
Yep, I would agree with that too on
in their
this one.
color palette, in their editing,
Yeah,
in their
yeah,
story
that-
choices.
Other
looks
than that
exactly like
production
an Apple
value.
Yep.
Love Keira Knightley, so excited for anything she's doing.
Obviously, we're all big fans of
Glenn Howard.
Glenn- now, and Hitman.
Or
Now
Glenn
this
Powell,
could be
excuse me,
really
Glenn
cool.
Powell.
But is this a
Glenn
gray
Howard's
man?
a very different actor.
Yeah.
I didn't even know there's.
But is this a gray man situation, or we don't know, because it's like it just shows us like a quick few seconds of a movie or a series, so
Yeah.
we can't really judge it. I know we like the actor. It could be great. It could be gray man.
Yeah.
Oh, it could be great. It could be gray man.
It could be great.
Now
It could be-
I love what why am I drawing? Jason Bateman has
Bateman.
done with Netflix Ozark.
Yes.
If they're carrying over that production quality, that the production company, I'm sure he's behind. This Carry On thing could be cool.
Yeah.
What is this? What is it? Is this? Are we looking at
So-
something else now?
All I know from this, because this is one that I hadn't really seen anything from before. I know it's him. I know it is Taron Egerton, who we all really like too.
Right.
And so anything that Jason Bateman does, I'm pretty stoked about. Especially, I like the potential of him being the shady character in this. I like him being a
Or
villain.
is he a villain, or is
Or-
he just maybe just
Yeah.
getting work done? Who knows?
Let's. What's the title of that? Just
Carry On.
Carry
Like
On.
Carry on.
Luggage.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that now the next one we're going on to. Is
Okay, yeah. The next one I think is the big one for all of us is Avatar.
Yes.
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I'm so hyped
Airbender.
about this. I'm
Yeah,
so
let's get this.
jazzed.
I mean, even this little shot we got here is more of his like personality, his,
Yes.
his character.
Ugh.
So and then I'm a sucker for a good war, not just a war like drama, but historic drama. We'll see how this goes. I
Yeah.
mean, if it gets panned, then I might not check it out.
And
But
so what's this one called? It's just because
this is
we're
called
on a
Six-
podcast. So
this is
people-
six,
Yeah.
yeah. But this is 6 AAA. I like how Ray's trying to remind me what show I'm on.
No. I'm just saying because like I'm just imagining if
Well,
someone's listening.
you're aware because you can't see the screen.
Oh, you're right.
But 6 AAA, and
we're talking about 6
I don't know the
AAA.
story for sure, like totally, but obviously it's women. It's a black regiment of women during World War II.
Oh yeah, this actually looked interesting.
So
Kerry
I'm
Washington
in.
led.
Yeah.
These movies aren't my cup of tea, but I'll
Okay.
definitely check it out.
Yeah.
What is it? Just the army part of it? Just the military?
Yeah, military movies just really don't move the needle for me.
Did you see the space program film with
ISS?
No,
I didn't
with
see that.
where they help the what's it called? Oh, keep going on that.
Okay.
Sorry.
But I loved it. I love the way you broke that down.
Sorry.
And then obviously, Jenny from the Block. We got Atlas.
In Atlas.
I'm kind of surprised to see her in a show or a movie like this.
Yeah.
But again, we have no idea on like the premise really. I mean, just the snippets you can read about, and then
and how good her hair
What's-
looks. I
yeah.
don't want to take away from J-Lo's talent and artistry. but
Yeah,
man, her
I
hair is
did. I
amazing
did.
in this show.
I was thrown off by the curls.
She stunning. I mean, I've always loved her since Selena. I've loved her since she was a Fly Girl. So I usually tune into stuff that
Okay,
Jennifer Lopez does.
good. Well, the movie I was talking about was Hidden Figures.
Hidden Figures. I love
okay,
that
yeah,
movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like stuff that's behind the scenes and about the science and mathematics and
Right.
things. Probably what other people
I'm
think
hoping
is boring.
it's that the movie we're just talking about, six triple. What was it called?
6888. Was that what it was?
Yeah, well, it would be in like sort of the same vein about breaking out of the mold or whatever, and achieving things. You know what I
Hopefully.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the last 3 here that I got is Eric with Mr. Cumberbatch.
Benny Cumberbatch.
Oh.
Again, the cinematography looks great.
Yeah, we know
He's a
it's a
great
mystery.
actor. Eric is an upcoming television series made for the streaming at Netflix. The script was written by Abby Morgan, Lucy Forbes directing, but it doesn't give me a synopsis. So
It's just one of those mystery thrillers that they're not telling us too much about.
Yeah, but he's a great actor.
He's an amazing actor, and
So
I
we'll
love a
s-
suspenseful film or
You
TV
know,
show.
I used to kind of lean on, well, they've always done great content. I'll just trust it. But
And also all
but
the
then,
Erics.
But then my problem is I said that with Michael Fassbender too many times.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So I don't do that anymore.
Their movies are pretty hit or miss for me, but their TV shows are
Yeah.
the ones that usually get me. Because final season of Umbrella
agree.
Academy, I'm here for it. That show was a slow burn for me because I read the comics.
Yeah.
They've done a really great job adapting them, though. So it makes sense it's the final season. Sweet Tooth is another show that I think way too many people have slept on, and I love Sweet Tooth. Final season for that.
What is that about?
I think you would actually really like it,
Is
Ray.
it really about candy?
No, it's just this kid's nickname is Sweet Tooth because he loves sweets so much. All of a sudden, there are all these hybrid children born of normal parents, like
Hybrid children?
human animal hybrids,
Wow.
and then like they start getting hunted down and stuff.
Oh, no.
But these kids like band together and they're
Sounds
really
like
amazing.
a New Mutants kind of thing.
Yeah, and the lead kid, Sweet Tooth, was the kid in Cocaine Bear who does the
Okay.
like that would change a man. He is wonderful. And then this is also, I don't think you guys are into this, but I do love this show. It's a new season of Bridgerton, y'all.
Okay, so I
Ooh.
did see that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize the tone was kind of like a dry humor.
A
Or
lot
was
of
that just what they
times.
showed us in the trailer?
A lot of times you get that. It feels like that Regency era kind of thing where it is some dry humor mixed
Yeah.
in with all the unrequited love,
Yeah.
depending on the kind of story they're doing too. Season 1 is, I mean, just real horny, y'all. It's a lot of nudity. It's a lot of crazy sex. Season 2 is more of that enemies to lovers kind of thing where it's more like hands grazing. Oh my gosh, whoo, flushed in the face. And then this latest one, I don't want to spoil the show for anybody, but our gal here who was featured, she's been causing some kerfuffle in the ton. So
All right.
it's going to be interesting.
All right.
At least
and
to
then,
me.
And then the last couple things that popped up were Unfrosted, the Pop-Tart story.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
I'll tell you.
Yes,
I'll tell
this
you.
is the one.
These shows, like the things about like the movie, like about Tetris, or
This is the one.
or like a McDonald's, like the founder, or any of this stuff.
Anything with food for me.
What is it? The Flamin' Hot.
Flamin' Hot.
Flaming hot.
I'm excited, and come on, man, it's Seinfeld.
Yeah, Seinfeld has been working on this for a while. I think this was we've talked about this Pop-Tart movie for a long
It's
time.
been a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember making like graphics with everyone that's supposed to be in it. Me having a hard time because there's so many stars in it that I had to cut out and put in the photo and match the colors. But yeah, I can't wait.
Is this going to be charming like Flaming Hot, though, or is this going to be like Beanie Bubble?
I never saw Beanie Bubble.
Exactly.
It's just because I forgot
Yeah, I don't
about
think-
it.
Exactly.
Exactly. you actually were in the right for that. So.
Yeah.
And then of course, Squid Game
Squid
season
Game.
2.
There we go.
So he's coming to get you. I will find you.
Giving
I
us
will
the Liam
find
Neeson
you.
business. Yeah.
Giving
I
his
have no
best
idea.
Dodd.
All I know is his hair always that color?
No.
In the season 1, was it that color?
No.
Okay. That's
just-
all I can ask or say about it.
Which, yeah, I'm not going to lie, when it first opened, too, because of that pink hair, I was like, ooh, which live action anime adaptation are we doing now?
No.
But
No, this is his business hair. He's
Yeah.
coming to
Yeah,
find you.
he's
hey, I
business
love
now.
it.
When you're coming to
Yeah.
find someone,
Yeah.
you put
Yeah.
that hair on.
That hair is amazing.
The
So-
police will spot you from a mile away, buddy.
So those
That's
are what
confidence.
we got. You know?
Those are our shows. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of good stuff on there.
Again, it's just sort of hard. It's like they just show us little tidbits. So
Yeah.
it's like unless you're familiar with the content already, you can't really give it a great judgment
No,
on some
no,
of these
but-
things. It's like I have no idea
Hey,
about it
hey,
or not.
but here, give them credit. All of these things are possibly like done shooting, right? They're all ready to
I
go.
would say if it's a series,
we rarely
they
get
at least
that
have
from
enough to
anybody.
launch.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we rarely get like product like all these finished products like ready to go and shown to
Well,
us,
these will
like-
be for 2024, so some of these
Yeah.
are not completed, but yeah.
For sure. And also, the Sizzle Reel 2 alluded to the live shows we're going to be having this year on Netflix as
Yeah.
well. So big things for this streaming service.
Yeah.
Yes.
Humble beginnings delivering us DVDs, and now they're going to be streaming wrestling and having Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh
in their
yeah,
show.
wrestling. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
All
We'll
good
see if that
stuff.
works out still.
We'll see if they can get the live streaming to work. Didn't for Love is Blind, but hey, that's the show that you test run things on, I think.
Well, wrestling has done live shows for a long time.
Yeah,
so they
but
won't have any
Netflix
problem.
hasn't.
Yeah,
They
Netflix,
sometimes have a
yeah.
few technical issues.
Well, it looks like a pretty good slate for them.
Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with it, but proof is in the pudding. We have to wait till these things come out to actually see if they are as good as they look in this reel.
Yeah, because Netflix has done me wrong.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Absolutely. So,
All right.
folks, are you too cautiously optimistic about this lineup, or are you in whole hog? How are you feeling about Netflix 2024? Let us know how you feel in the comments. All right.
I don't like that thing that you just said. Whole
hog?
That,
Have you not heard whole hog before?
I've
Is
never
that
heard
just a
that.
Southern thing?
uh,
Would you like me to say whole ass? You gonna whole ass it?
please.
Not half ass it, whole ass it. Well, what a good moment for me to cut to the sponsor of this show for today. We're going to take a quick break to listen to one of those sponsors, the good folks over at Fume. Check it out.
We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Fume. Quitting cold turkey is great in theory, but you and I both know it's way more difficult than that. And that's why there's a better way to break your bad habits. We're not talking about some fake online promises. We're talking about our sponsor, Fume. And they look at the problem in a different way. Instead of a drastic, uncomfortable change, why not just remove the bad from your habit? Fume is an innovative, award-winning flavor-air device that does just that. See, instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air. Instead of electronics, Fume is completely natural. And instead of harmful chemicals, Fume uses delicious flavors. You get it. Instead of bad, Fume is good. It's a habit you're free to enjoy and makes replacing your bad habit easy. I personally didn't know what to expect when I first got my Fume. I mean, I've never liked vapes, but my goodness, the taste. The first time I tried it, I was completely sold on it. It was incredible. Stopping is something we all put off because it's hard, but switching to Fume is easy, enjoyable, and even fun. Fume has served over 150,000 customers and has thousands of success stories, and there's no reason that can't be you. Join Fume in accelerating humanity's breakup from destructive habits by picking up the Journey Pack today. Head to tryfume.com and use the code CAMPEA to save 10% off when you get the Journey Pack today. That's tryfum.com and use the code CAMPEA to save an additional 10% off your order today.
And thank you to the folks over at Fume. Remember, guys, when you use those Campea codes, you're not only getting yourself a tasty deal, you're helping us keep the lights on. And boy, do we like the lights. They're nice. So thanks so much. All right, y'all, we're going to get into our next topic here. And this one bums me out because I'm cheap. Hulu's going to start cracking down on password sharing. And I know as a performer, I know as an artist, I should be, hey, give people their money. But gosh dang it, I'm really cheap and I have 5 people on my account with me.
Oh, but it's your account.
It's my account.
Oh, well, then they're the ones that are cheap.
They're being cheap, but it's also so then like we can trade. So I can be like, yo, what's your Paramount Plus?
Tradesies.
Yeah.
Hey, how come I'm not a part of this black market streaming
Do you want to be?
group?
You're on Campea Plus. Do you want to be
I
on
know.
this instead?
Yeah. But that sometimes I have to go to his place to actually watch.
Oh.
If I could watch that.
So did you
To
get your
be
email?
clear, I have not gotten my email.
Oh, I got my
yet.
email from Hulu
Oh,
yesterday.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's also I think Logan has the account holder on it, so it's
How much
probably
is
lost in
Hulu
his
right now
inbox.
for you guys?
$17.99, I think.
Ooh.
I do the ads one too.
Oh, so
I'm-
it's a little cheaper.
Yeah, so I'm a little cheaper than that.
Wait. So $17.99 is without ads.
Yeah.
And with ads, it's what,
I don't-
$14.99.
I'm
I
not
think we pay 14,
Yeah.
something like that. Not a huge difference, but again,
$3.
when you're cheap, yeah, those $3.
I had actually canceled a lot of my streamers, and then I didn't realize that I put Hulu on like hold for 3 months. So then I got charged. I'm like, okay, well I can get back with one
Yeah.
more. So right now I have Hulu, Amazon because I have Prime,
Same.
and then I have Max because apparently with my AT&T internet I get Max for free.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, because I pay for the 1 gig up, 1 gig down.
I'm on my friend Petey's parents' account for HBO.
boy.
Shout out to the Delgados. What's up?
Okay,
They're
so
gonna be next though.
I know.
so looking at this, they're following in the footsteps of Disney Plus
Technically Netflix
and Netflix.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if it'll have the same effect as when Netflix put. This,
I think it will.
because Hulu, even Netflix, I hear a lot more people having
Sure.
than Hulu.
But this is
That's why I'm like interested to see how the fallout.
more
from
people
this.
have Netflix than even ESPN, Hulu, or Disney Plus together.
Right.
But Disney started doing this in last year for their shady Canadian viewers.
Bad Canadian
So the Canadian
kids.
kids, they got spanked first on this.
Good Canadian kids.
then-
My left tush.
Yeah. So now it's spreading, but
So tell me, what's the Hulu's? If I came here, I didn't know anything, and I was just looking at what are Hulu shows or things that you actually subscribe for.
The main thing, well, one of the big things is live television. If you are into that,
Mm-hmm.
that's a higher tier though too. It's a lot of network shows as well. If you want to watch ABC shows, Fox shows, those
Like
kinds of
replays,
things.
you mean? Like replays of
Yeah.
anything that's happened on
Unless
those.
again, if you're doing the live one, you get that earlier. Otherwise, you're getting it fed to you at a certain time to pop on there. That's where I watch ABC or things like that personally.
So they don't have that one thing like, because if you said Netflix, Stranger Things,
Yeah.
Well,
Squid Game.
Hulu
They do.
Doesn't have those
They do
titles
have
that.
original content. I feel like they haven't had stuff that has really blown up that way.
yeah,
though.
it's not. Nothing is as big as like Stranger Things or like The Last of Us on Max or whatever. But
Yeah.
they do have Only Murders in the Building, which I'm
Yes.
almost wrapped
Love
up with.
that show.
I hear about that. Yeah. Every now and
Welcome to Wrexham was really huge,
Mm-hmm.
then. Okay.
and kind of like if you were into Apple TV's Ted Lasso, this is the real life.
Exactly.
You know, Wrexham Sport Ball Club.
You can stream
Football
The Bear
club.
there, so that's a big
The
draw.
Bear.
Okay,
the
there
Bear
you
was
go.
a big draw.
Solar Opposites,
Mm-hmm.
if you're into that, is also on there, and I think now a Hulu exclusive.
I'm talking about subscription getters.
Oh, and Shogun.
You know, people sign up to Netflix just for Stranger Things. Shogun might be one of the ones.
Harv's K just brought up Shogun, so yeah, that's coming.
That could be one.
Good,
and,
good.
And to your point earlier too, Ray, of how it worked out for Netflix, like Netflix said that they got this huge just boom of subscribers, right? All those little kind of like carry on parasites.
I was one of them.
Me,
I was the one that signed on. Actually, had to sign on to
Yeah.
my own subscription. I did
Same
that.
here. And so we could see that here. Hulu also does do the bundle options as well. So maybe
Right.
that might entice some people. Get an ESPN on there, watching live sports, maybe coupling that with the kind of Disney thing that they can do.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some reasons to get it. I just feel like, I don't feel like it has the same oomph as
Yeah.
Netflix, right?
The same like water cooler people talk about.
It
shows
doesn't have that. It's just a little cheaper. That's why I kind of stuck with it for
Mm-hmm.
now. And like I said, it was on my subscription. Like was just on pause. And I'm like, whatever. I'll keep it for at least another couple months unless things change, and then I'll keep it permanently.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah. I mean, some other people brought up like What We Do in the Shadows is on there.
Watch it on there. Letterkenny.
Reservation
Reservation
Dogs.
Dogs.
Yeah.
If you're into Letterkenny,
Yeah,
that's
maybe
where
it's
I watch
just so
it.
you know the people I know, because it's like I could watch Netflix if I wanted to. By I know a lot of people
Netflix to me is
have
about
Netflix.
the documentaries, the comedy
Yeah, I
specials.
know a lot of people have Netflix, but I can't. I can't now borrow Hulu from anybody apparently. So yeah,
Hulu just feels kind of like the answer to if you didn't have cable, but you still wanted to watch those shows.
Yeah.
If you still want to watch the kind of like big three shows, like the CBSs or things like that, although CBS, Paramount Plus.
so for the company itself, this is probably going to be a positive. It's
Sure,
gonna get
I think
positive.
for all they're all going that way. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm shocked that they haven't sooner.
Seriously.
I don't see why you wouldn't.
Yeah.
I remember when Netflix first did it, and no one else has made this argument since. But they're like, "Oh, well, then I'm leaving." It's like they don't get Netflix doesn't get money for every time you click on an episode of something.
Yeah.
So you leaving, meaning you're not going to steal someone's password anymore, only benefits Netflix.
Exactly.
Stealing
So-
is such a harsh word that you're using.
I feel very attacked.
People
This is-
knowingly.
when they
Very-
come at it with that anger, then I'm like, well, then you're stealing.
Look,
If you're like,
because
oh, that sucks, but okay.
Because you know what? It's not
Then it's
stealing
sharing.
if the person is looking at you while you're stealing it. The person who owns it. I don't
So if you
consider
make
that.
eye contact, it's not
Yeah,
a
Well, then
I'm
crime.
you're
like-
just watching
I'm
with
like,
them.
hey, John. And I take, and then I borrow. It's just.
Are you sure you know how the internet works? It's not actually something physical you reach and grab and walk out with.
Well, John writes all his passwords and usernames on paper still.
Okay.
And I just find that paper.
Oh.
Yeah.
So how
It's
many
all
of
over
you
the house.
guys in the chat are sharing? Or how many
Yeah.
do you have? How many of you even have Hulu, and does this even affect you? That's what
Exactly.
I want to know.
Right? And is the old adage sharing is caring more important than Hulu making money? Should you have to have your own account? Probably. Probably should. But let us know how you feel about this password crackdown and if it's going to benefit Hulu or if you think people are going to cut bait and go to other places. Let us know your thoughts. All right. Speaking of cutting bait and throwing out chum, Obi-Wan season 1.
Oh,
Got a vision of like
we
Jaws.
find ourselves back to this thing.
We do. So if you enjoyed Obi-Wan season 1, awesome. This show, for me personally, did not fire on all cylinders. I think you guys kind of felt the same way when we watched
It was hit
it.
and miss, and the miss was bigger than the hits.
Yeah. First
So-
episode was
First episode was great.
fabulous.
The battle with him and Vader
Really nice.
was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Him hiding a kid under a trench coat was like, what are we doing
It's
here?
a classic Muppet move.
I feel like they should have just like, I thought once he finally did rescue Princess Leia, he was like, all right, ship her back off to her home planet. Like, we're moving on, right? We're moving on. Oh, she's still hanging out with us?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, putting children in danger who I know grow up to save the universe.
kind of annoying.
Doesn't really do it for me.
And then the Reva McEntire storyline was like,
Reva McEntire, huh?
you're going to the dark side
Really?
to get
He's a
revenge on the
single Sith
people
who
on the
works
dark
too
side
hard.
who hurt the people on the light side, and then you find yourself at the end was just like, what?
Yeah.
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 Nothing against that actress. Nothing
No,
against
that actress
the
is
character.
phenomenal.
But that character did not need to be in that
No,
show.
the storytelling let that show
Yeah.
down. The direction of that show let it down. What she did with what she was given, I think was great,
Yeah.
personally. But that all being said, Ewan McGregor, who is wonderful as Obi-Wan, that is not up for debate in my opinion. He's
Yeah.
great in this role. He embodies it so well. I think he's who most people associate Obi-Wan with now first.
Yep.
You know, that like, hey, looks like Jesus, there's Obi-Wan. Yep, right there. Frame it in your house, put a cross next to it. Now, Ewan McGregor is saying that there's no talk of a season 2 for Obi-Wan.
They're just too darn busy over there
So
at Disney.
color me surprised. Now, I love that Ewan McGregor here is talking about how he would love to have the season, but it's because, you know, they've got a lot going on. They're doing a lot of other things.
Yeah, they're doing a little switch up too right now
Yeah.
with Dave Filoni being appointed as
Absolutely.
Creative.
right. Okay, go on.
Yeah,
go on.
and you know, one of the things we've talked about so much on this show too is how Disney is really cracking down on giving us quality. We've learned that Disney, whether it's Marvel, whether it's Star Wars, whether it's Disney itself, for the longest time on their streamers, they haven't been using show Bibles. They haven't had showrunners, which is wildly different from how television is typically run. You usually have those things in place. So they're bringing those kinds of leaders on board for their programs. They're going more quality over quantity. We're getting a slimmer list of shows we're getting, but hopefully they're really putting in a lot of quality effort into it. So there definitely is a rhyme and reason why any show wouldn't be picked up, regardless of how successful it is. But this one, I can understand why we're not
I
getting
mean,
it.
you got the Acolyte, you got Skeleton Crew
Got
coming.
a lot of stuff going
Both
here.
live action. Bad Batch, I don't really care about, but still, Tales
Yeah.
of the Jedi. But, you know, that's a heavy slate. And if anything, I'd say you'd have to give it to Andor, and Andor's not even on that list.
Exactly. And you know, McGregor has been campaigning for this, and according to this article here too, he says, quote, there's another 10 years with plenty of stories to tell.
Yeah.
Now,
there is.
they-
Yes, there is,
True.
man.
There,
Yes, there is, Mr. McGregor.
there is 10 years. Now, for me, and this is just my opinion, this is for me, are they stories that need to be told? Are they stories worth telling? Are they stories that add to the mythos of Star Wars, or is it just more filler? Right? Because this, for me, was a lot of filler, no star killer.
I watched this with a lot of like, that didn't bother me too much. Eyes, you know, I just liked seeing him take on this role again.
Do you remember
Maybe I was blinded by that. I didn't see a lot
Blinded
of
by Your Love?
the dumb things that, or like, you know, the things that bother people as much as it didn't bother me as much. But
Can I
look-
say one thing that
what?
really bothered me?
What?
And this happened in the show a lot. They were on this transport going down a road on was it Tatooine? I think.
Oh yeah, wherever.
Near the
Probably.
beginning.
Fill in the blank.
And they come to a roadblock, like a military roadblock. He dispatches all the bad guys.
Oh right.
But he can't open the roadblock.
Oh yeah, the little thing that
The arm.
Yeah.
The arm.
Yeah.
So he shoots the arm. They could have just walked around the building.
Yeah. Yeah. That happened
You mean-
a ton.
That was in the hill, right? The desert hill.
Because they weren't taking the transport
Yeah.
anymore.
No,
They were walking
it
at
was
that
just-
point.
Go that way.
Well, you see what happens. You seen YouTube videos when that arm doesn't go up. We seen bikers like get
Just-
decap or like
Yeah.
just.
But they were on foot.
They could have just moseyed.
Yeah,
they're being-
and then because they shot everything on the volume, there would be moments where they're facing off with stormtroopers and it looked like a laser tag match. They're all just standing right in front of each other, pew pew, shooting at each other. I'm like, how are you not already all dead? It's just it was.
You know, have some respect for the people who have passed away.
Don't get me
doing laser
started.
Tag,
Yeah.
okay.
That's fair. I do think to
Thoughts and
to
prayers to laser
Ewan's,
tag.
to Ewan's credit here, There are other stories you could tell. Obviously, and they're not canon always, but there's a lot of Star Wars novelizations, there's comics, there's all kinds of stuff. If we look to the Clone Wars animated series, there's a whole bunch of stuff with him and Satine, right? There's a lot of things going on where you could explore some other things for him. If they did this show, they need to make sure, in my opinion, that he is separated from the Skywalkers.
Darth Maul.
Well, we see his confrontation with Darth Maul in Rebels. Mm-hmm. So, and I don't think they meet up again until then.
I don't believe so.
Yeah, unless they want to retcon that.
Savage.
Which I guess they could.
So,
Yeah.
I just don't know what you do with this.
You make Andor season 2 is what you do.
That's what I would prefer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do hope that Acolyte and/or Skeleton Crew are in the same quality as Andor.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
100%. Well, folks, are you surprised that we are not already green lighting an Obi-Wan season 2? Does it blow your mind? Or are you like, oh, Ewan, go do another season of Fargo. You're great on that.
Yeah.
Right?
Or more Train Spotting, anything.
Yeah, anything. A musical? Love you in a musical. Let us know your thoughts and if Obi-Wan should get another season. With that down, guys, let's get into our main topic now that I am woefully unqualified to talk to you about. Apparently, Dune 3, Dune Messiah, is going to be Denis Villeneuve's last foray into the Dune universe. Now, why am I unqualified to talk to you about this? Well, as some of you know, the Dune movies don't really fire on all cylinders for me. The Dune movie, I should say. Nor have I read the novel, so I am not the right fan to talk to about this, really.
So go on and just talk about how you feel about Dune. Then
I was today years old when I learned there would be a third film.
Yeah.
And I understand too that there are many other books that were made in the Dune series and everything. So there's obviously other content out there. But I didn't know much about this. So y'all, I know you guys enjoyed Dune far more than me. I just defer to you on this. How you feeling about Denis stepping away from this? Do you think 3 movies is enough to get through some of this content?
I think so. I mean, I'm excited. I just went back to the Chinese theater and saw the reissue.
For the re-release?
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, I know what you're saying. Like, you get like the pacing, all that feels slow, but to me, it's like the whole vibe. It's the music, the sound effects, the cinematography, all of that. And then, there's a lot of setup in the first movie. Mm-hmm. And I think the second movie, you're probably going to end up, if you just decide to go see it.
Oh, I am.
I think you're going to like it a lot more because it's more action.
That's what everyone keeps telling me.
Way more action because part 1 was all the setup.
Exactly.
So I think when you come off of part 2, you might be excited about this. Mm-hmm. But I also think that this should be where he stops. I think 3 is a good amount for a director to focus on. And then let someone else take it on. And also then we get different content from Denny, and I love his storytelling. So I want to see more than just Dune from him.
For sure.
I like Chris. I didn't know there was a Dune 3 planned.
Yeah. It's going to happen.
I thought it was Dune 2 and then we out.
Well, yeah. It's kind of like these two kind of like basically complete the book. So
yes.
Okay, no spoilers, but spoilers. Does Timothée Chalamet's character move on to this third Dune? Is it something that goes,
character will continue?
Is this
it's a popcorn bucket.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
Well.
Plus, once you have this beauty here, why wouldn't you look for any opportunity
this
to
is why
reuse
I'm
it?
going to see the sequel.
This screams Messiah.
Oh, man.
I mean, it certainly makes one say, Jesus Christ.
Oh, wow.
Well, yes.
They better butter up that rim when I grab my popcorn. No, the rim on the popcorn bucket. Just so it feels like, authentic.
Oh, I followed you every step of the way, right?
Authentic. From what it might be the experience of doing something. Eating popcorn.
What?
Anyways, okay, here's the deal.
Okay.
If I don't care about Timothée Chalamet's character, what's his name? Paul
Atreides.
After this second movie, I'm not walking to this third movie.
Okay, well, look, one of the things I was going to say is...
Because I'm at the verge of caring about it, but this second movie better get me to be like, I want to know where this guy's going.
You're going to know that.
I want to follow this guy.
No, so when I went and saw the reissue, they showed us one scene where he finally rides a sandworm. But you can tell just on the characters around that scene that, you're going to be heavily invested in Paul and his growth. So, yeah.
Because this Paul character to me so far has seemed so alien to a human. Like his emotions seem so alien to However, yeah. From what I've seen, it's like he hears these whispers right in his head from the first film. It's like I don't know if he's an actual real person.
No, he is, but it's sort of like the chosen one kind of a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's not the point of the movie, to get emotional over these characters. It's more about the war and things like that. The war with each other, and protecting your land and things like that, right? Or your people?
Well, no, but there's a greater story for him. So when you say like I want to be invested in him, his story is going to get much larger.
Well,
so
I will absolutely give this movie this. It does a really great job of doing that world building. You do feel very, very immersed in this world. You know the rules. You know the intricacies of this.
Right.
For me, that just moved a little slow.
Yeah.
And I say that as somebody who also constantly justifies getting through, the Lord of the Rings books and Tolkien describing walking through grass for like 16 pages. So I completely get it. And I'm really excited to see where this picks up, because I do want to know more. I want to know about, Zendaya's character and how she and Paul relate to one another, because those trailers, they're in a relationship all of a sudden.
All that relationship and all those like visions he was getting, that's the payoff too. So you're gonna get payoff with their internal, like their growth as characters, relationships, and then the culmination of fighting off the big bads. The sandworms joining, dude, you're gonna love it.
I'm invested in the part because of the part of the trailer where I was like, okay, this is this is over. When he talks about his dad, because his dad is dead now, right? Or supposedly. When he says that line, I'm like, this guy needs to get. I want to see what a line like that does to a son that's hurt.
Yeah, and then you're gonna get the payoff of the revenge.
Yes, that's what I want from this. This is like. That's the only thing I could think about in this movie, the revenge he gets on that guy who said, who's it? Is it Christopher Walken who says it?
Oh, the Emperor?
Yeah. Yeah, so I still like that big guy, the one that died at the end.
Oh, the Skarsgård one?
Skarsgård. I just
like
I like that character for some reason.
Character design is
It just makes me laugh when he talks. But it's also, there's a little
creepiness, right? When it floats,
there's the little...
It's such a deep, like, gutter, like
mistrust with this character. Like, he says these things so confidently, but do I believe him?
Sure.
It's like, it's like, oh man.
I feel like I saw it in IMAX, and I'll see it again in IMAX. If I see it a second time, I'll do the nicer chairs in the Dolby. But the soundscape is almost unsettling in Dune, because it's so loud and just so like, abrupt all the time that. And even when the people kind of like different aliens speak, you're like, whoa, that looks like a gravelly grumble, like I can't even describe it, like a rumble.
It's a very weird primordial like noise. I do want to just point out, someone in the chat said that, the last Dune wasn't even profitable. It was. And I want to say that because I was somebody who this didn't really work for me. I think I would have liked it if I got that 2-parter double whammy, right? Where it was a big long thing. But I mean, they had a $165 million budget and made $402 million. And you got to remember that they put this
the same day,
date and date.
Yeah, it's really unfair to say it wasn't even profitable. Okay, so don't make part 2. All right. Well, yeah. To your point, it was released on streaming the same day.
Yeah.
And it was 2021.
Yeah.
So the majority of people still were not even brave enough to go back in a movie theater, and it made $400 million.
Yeah.
So when you make statements like that, you've got to put them in perspective.
Exactly. I watched this at home, and Logan had a
I
very
watched
different
this at home too.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it in theater.
Oh, yeah. That's another thing. So you guys are like not. So like I'm sitting here with my experience both times in IMAX.
Yeah.
With a massive screen and a sound system that's blasting you away. Yeah. And you guys are like, it was okay. I'm like, you were worried about your neighbors. See this thing in IMAX, the rumbling when he starts surfing on that worm, and the power of these things going through the sand and the rumbling in the theater, you're gonna be like,
that could have really changed it. But like Logan loved it.
Yeah.
Also, granted, Logan likes a lot of things. He loved Obi-Wan season 1. But he was like, "Oh, you're entitled to your opinion, but it is wrong about this movie. It is not boring."
No, because you'll still feel the pacing will still feel the same. I'm just saying, at least you'd have like a sensory kind of like you like this is getting me through at least. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah.
Oh,
That's a fair point.
You know what? We're seeing it. Well, all I know, even if this movie isn't profitable, that popcorn bucket is going to be profitable.
Can I just say, though?
So many people are going to buy it.
This feels like, most jokes aside, I feel like this thing's going to knock the popcorn out of my hands as I'm like
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, give me the.
It depends on
popcorn.
what kind of.
Well, don't say come on to it, Jonathan.
Yeah, don't
It
do that.
depends on what kind of inner thing that you choose, because I think that's customizable, I believe.
I'm not sure what you're getting at here. But you know what? This picture here of Denny makes me feel like, and I know people are so sick of Star Wars at this point, but I could see him doing a Star Wars
I
film.
would love actually for him to do a Star Wars. I
Yeah.
think he would have such great vision. And one of the things we talk about with Star Wars all the time is what if we kind of get outside of the typical story here? What if we do something interesting with it and do a different genre that happens to be in a galaxy far, far away? He'd nail that.
Put him in like something pre-Republic or early Republic.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it'd be epic.
We're seeing Dune 2 on February 25th. I
You're doing the
believe.
thing, and I'm
Nice.
seeing it on the 29th, 4 days
Yeah.
later.
So
gonna shop you
I
in
will
advance
be
so
in
they get
theaters for
tickets.
this one, unlike the first one. So we'll see. We'll see if there's the
Ray, your
difference.
experience, not only with this part 2 and everything you're looking for, and the fact that you're seeing it in like IMAX or
Yeah,
even
we're
if you've
seeing
seen
it in
it,
IMAX.
dude, you're coming out of this movie like loving it.
Okay.
I almost guarantee it. I can't always guarantee with you,
Hot
but I
toy
feel like
bet.
you're really gonna like
Hot
it.
toy bet.
No, I can't. Dude, I am broke.
We're not
I just
in that
told you I
money.
canceled my streamers. Do you think I have money for a hot toy?
We're Funko
Guys,
bet.
just do it like
Funko
I
bet.
do, where I buy them used.
If I buy a hot toy, I better be saving up for a divorce lawyer, because the lawyer's like, you're out of here.
That's fair. That's very, very fair. But I think we're all in agreement. Denis, we want to see him do some other things. He's
Yeah.
done some great stuff here, but we want to see more from him in different types of movies. Yeah?
Yeah, definitely. These movies lock him up for a long time.
Uh-huh.
It's time to move on eventually.
Hey, just so you know, and I'm not throwing, Calvin, it's a leap year. So there is a February 29th, and it's happening on that day. That only happens once every 4 years, but there is a
Yes.
29th.
Oh, this
every
year?
4 year. Yeah, there's a leap year.
Oh, cool, man.
Yep.
Cool.
Anyway, just letting you know.
So today we learned a lot. Well, guys, the question is for you. Do you think Denis Villeneuve should have Dune 3 be his last in the Dune franchise? Are you excited about the Dune films? Do you want him to stick on forever and ever? Are you going to get that popcorn bucket? Yeah, you are. You nasty. All right. We're going to get to your questions here in just a moment, guys. But before we do, we are going to thank the sponsor of this entire show, the good folks over at Mint Mobile.
Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. On average, it takes about 30 days for a person to break their New Year's resolution. So if saving money was on your 2024 list, your odds aren't looking that great. Luckily, I have a 100% guaranteed way to save you money this year. Just switch to Mint Mobile. For a limited time, wireless plans from Mint Mobile are $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan. That's unlimited talk, text, and data for $15 a month. I've told you guys many times that after switching to Mint Mobile, I am spending less than a third on my cell bill than I used to with a major carrier. Say goodbye to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. All Mint plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. And don't worry about having to change phones or numbers. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. So guys, to get this new customer offer and your new 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bills to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
And thank you once again to Mint Mobile for being a sponsor of this show. All right, let's get into some of those questions. What we got?
Let's do. Reggie Phoenix says, if Moonlight and Return of the King released in the same year, which do you think would take home the best picture? Return of the King.
Return of the King.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm wildly biased. My whole business is based around Lord of the Rings, you guys. Like, my dog is named Gimli. The Return of the King could be up against any film, and I'd be like, Return of the King.
Plus, it was a culmination of those 3 films.
Exactly.
They kind of snubbed them every year. And everyone said, oh, well, they're probably saving it for the final. And everyone would be like, but they're good on their own. It's like, I know, but this is what they're doing.
Exactly.
So,
Academy's still very political.
yep. Alessa with a $20 super chat.
Thank you. Yay.
Hey, John and crew. Sony released their State of Play yesterday. Yep. And Kojima released the new trailer of Death Stranding 2. 10 minutes of stunning cinematography. George Miller is featured in a few scenes. What are your thoughts? Ray, you got any thoughts? Did you see any of Death
I
Stranding?
just
Yeah,
saw
this is
some
all you.
images. I was planning on watching that after the show.
I've
like-
only seen images as well, but the images, I mean, obviously you have to do next gen console, which I don't have either of the next gens. I have the PlayStation 4 Pro, not a 5, but they look stunning.
Yeah. Oh, I'm telling you right now, I don't have to watch the Death Stranding. I will. I don't have to. I'm already looking up the used PS5s because I want to play this new Sonic game with Shadow. Not a new. I think it's a re-release. They're redoing it.
Yeah.
But you get to play Shadow.
But you do
this
have
time.
the new gen Xbox, right? You have the Series X.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I'm gonna watch it. I'm always blown away by PlayStation stuff. I can't wait to see it. Like, I never played the first one,
Me either.
but some of these cinematics and the games on PlayStation, I'm just in awe of the way they look. And we've come so far, for real. Like, for real, we've come so far. And this is another game. Just by one screenshot I saw, I said, "Oh, Death Stranding 2? This game's gonna look incredible." And from what you're saying, it does look incredible.
Yeah, I'm actually someone just said I don't know that it is strictly PlayStation, so you may be able to play it on Xbox.
I'm actually gonna
not
watch
sure.
it right now while you guys move on to the next
All
one.
right, go ahead. We'll be over here.
We appreciate your focus.
Ryan says, "Hey, John and crew, huge fan of the show. My question is, have you seen fan art of Henry Cavill as Batman? I believe he would be great in the role as DCU Batman. What do you think?" Well, he'd be great in almost anything, but I don't think you're going to be able to get the star.
Whoa, some of these are not appropriate.
Yeah, who is? Oh, why is he holding the Dune 2
The bucket.
bucket?
Why
I'll bring up
why
some.
did someone make that? Well, I know why someone made that. That was a very naive thing to say. Some of these are sexual. Yeah, Henry Cavill would be a great Bruce Wayne. And he's a very good physical actor too. So I mean, I could see him handling the combat of Batman and
Sure.
everything too.
It's just how do you sell audiences? This was Superman in the DCEU,
Exactly, and then shift.
but now this is the Batman.
Yeah,
over here.
That's a little bit of a
I think you got to go.
hybrid.
I think you got to go clean switcheroo on that one.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yep. So Arun says, if Deadpool 3 is as good as previous ones, would you put it in the top 10 trilogies of all time? Well, I didn't think the second one was all that great compared to the first
It was
one.
a little hit or miss for me. Well, and also greatest trilogies of all time or greatest comic book trilogies of all time, because those are also two different.
And how many
categories.
trilogy? Top 10.
Top 10.
Maybe in top 10.
If this really sticks that landing, sure.
Yeah.
But it just depends, because yeah, like you, two that had a few problems for me.
Yeah.
I love one.
I actually kind of checked out once all the characters went into like the shredder.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, I was all hyped on these characters from the trailer, and now you literally just killed them all.
Yeah. That's how I
is
felt
like-
about Suicide Squad too.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, they're all dead now? Okay. Well, let's tuck in for another hour and a half.
Yeah. We got Dr. Stinky.
Dr. Stinky!
Hey, John and crew. Just went on a tech spree. Uh-oh, those are expensive.
Ooh.
And got the DT770 headset, a new XLR mic. Yeah. With a mixer and a spare DT990s headset. This is Star Wars talk.
Dang.
I'd love to hear your opinion on these, John. Well, John's not here. Love all you do. So let me just look these up real quick. What are we talking about
Well,
here?
and which XLR mic did you get and which mixer?
Yeah.
That's what I'm interested in, because a lot of these headphones too that have the gaming headphones that have the mic on them, every now and then I have a student in class who'll be using those, but typically, right, your XLR mic is a separate situation. So are we talking like a podcaster one, like a Shure SMB7? Are we talking about a Rode? Are we talking about getting
These
a
look-
tasty
these look
Newman in
cozy.
there? Oh, those look nice.
I've definitely seen some radio stations using these. They're massive.
yeah.
But they're really nice. So good job on the headset.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I'd love to know what kind of mixer you got going there, and,
Yeah.
and what kind of mic you picked up.
What's your interface, homie?
Yeah, and what are you
Let us
doing?
know.
Tell us what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you've told us, Dr. Stinker, but you talk to us a lot, and I feel like we, should know what you're up to these days.
Absolutely.
We're interested, so let us know.
Yeah, we would like to know.
And don't feel like you have to make that a super chat. Like, you could just tell us in the chat.
tell us in the chat. and We'll keep an eye out.
So, Alec Andrew, will Beetlejuice trailer drop soon? What's the plot?
Great question.
Yeah, I don't know what the plot is.
I mean, we know that
is
it's...
it anything like the play?
I don't think it is. I think that's something they're capitalizing on, is the
Okay.
movement of that musical. But it's isn't
Now,
it?
are we allowed to vape and touch our partners at the movie theater when the sequel comes out?
Obviously.
Okay, unlike the play, because I think the play's a
Unlike
little
the play,
stricter.
no, you can't do that.
But in a movie theater, you can. So
Obviously.
okay.
Well, only if you're a senator.
I'm just asking for a congressman. No.
Congressman, excuse
Really?
me.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a moment that's gonna go like whee. the fuck are they talking about?
Well, anyway, yes.
I
man,
think it's Lydia's daughter is the focus on this because I
yeah,
believe
because it is kind of a next gen thing.
Yeah, because I think if I'm correct, Winona Ryder signed on, but also are they bringing Jenna Ortega into the mix on this one too?
I think so.
Yeah. So we still have Keaton, we still have Winona Ryder in there, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, Catherine O'Hara pops up too. Love her. Love her so much.
Alec Andrews back and says, call Deadpool 3 Deadpool X. But why?
Yeah.
Does anyone? Hey, if you want to call Deadpool X, fine.
Sure.
I like it. Like
X
X-Men.
is going to give it to you.
Yeah. Justin Thau writes, how much of a cut do studios get from merchandise?
Ooh. I mean, honestly, that's where a lot of movies make their money.
That's why some movies are actually even made.
Well, I mean, that just depends on their
Before.
deal with their retailers.
Yeah.
It would be like any toy company or anything else. It's what's your cut from like Target or Walmart or wherever you're selling these things, Amazon. So
Look,
I couldn't tell you offhand, but it's a big cut.
Yeah.
Part of the promotion of like these big franchises are the merchandise that you see in stores before a movie comes out with these toys and things like that. I'm pretty sure there's a pretty big cut, pretty good cut. I mean,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah, that's their bread and butter, really. A lot of these franchises. So.
One, you look at certain movies too, like and no shade to this franchise, but Cars. The big thing with Cars was creating toys and toy products for kids to play with.
Yeah,
Or
of
all the
course.
Hasbro spin-off shows that they had
Of
in the
course.
80s, right? Transformers, He-Man, She-Ra. It was all to make merchandise, and that was really the thrust of it. So a buttload, I think is the technical term. A buttload of money is what they make. Yeah.
As long as they're successful in selling the stuff,
You
right?
know,
People want it.
and plus everyone signs their own deals. I know Hasbro has a deal with Marvel that's pretty expensive. You know, so it all depends on what the company is asking for in terms of, you know, that's why some movies, if you look at on the shelves, they have like cheap looking product. That's because they didn't really, you know, spend a lot of money in getting a better company to make their products for them. I don't know. Disney seems to have some a lot of product on the shelves when stuff goes out. Even Wish, remember Wish?
Oh my god.
Go to Target right now. Anybody who's bought the Wish stuff, you should have waited because all that stuff is on
It's all at
clearance.
Target now.
It's all on clearance right now. So sometimes it's good to play the waiting game. You don't have to be the first in buying this stuff. You don't even have to buy this stuff.
No.
You know, but
Rob does.
Yeah.
but Rob does. Rob will buy it all.
Oh, we got an update from Dr. Stinky. So
Okay.
he went with a fine mic and mixer, so the podcast mic and their mixer that they have. Oh, and these are pretty too because they've got the colors that show up on them too, so they light
Okay.
up when you're using them. Ooh, Dr. Stinky. Okay,
Stinky, what you podcasting
what's your
about?
podcast, homie? Let us know.
Is it the Stinky podcast?
Oh, so Norman Reedus is back in Death Stranding too, and this trailer is
Yo.
gross. The beginning is gross. I had to squint a little bit.
Like gross, like it's really.
Like let's separate like some skin from someone's arm and then like blood start
Whoa.
forming or something.
Oh, it.
Whatever, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and a spaceship coming out of a baby's mouth.
Ooh, cool.
How does that happen? That is
Science.
That is
That's what happens when a baby's born.
Look at
Freaky
this.
little
You got to
things.
shout out for your DMX
Oh,
reference.
yay!
All right, so moving on here. Christopher Brickner says, if Sony wanted Madame Web to succeed, maybe don't hire the writers of Dracula Untold, Last Witch Hunter, Gods of Egypt, and Morbius. They should stick to TV as their Lost in Space show was good. I just don't know why they're sticking to the Spider-Man-less Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
So-
I'm not super into it.
what is this guy with a he got
Is he playing guitar?
He has a
Guitar.
guitar weapon right here.
Weapon.
Oh my god, what is going on here? Okay.
Whoa.
This is some crazy stuff. Whatever Japan is smoking.
We would like some.
Yeah.
Yes,
Bring some
please.
over here.
All right.
Yeah.
But anyway, back
Yeah.
to the Spider-Man-less Spider-Verse.
I don't dig it. Also, unpopular opinion, Lost in Space, the remake didn't really do it for me. Some of the science was real bad, like real bad. But if I know a lot of other people did it, I'm pretty sure it was critically acclaimed. It was just not my bag. And I love Parker Posey, who's in it too. But I don't know.
All right. Moving on, we got Johnny Wiener who says, They say Kevin Conroy has 2 last roles, even though Bruce Timm debunked one. I think fans just don't want the game to be his last role as evil Batman.
Yeah, I can see that.
We're talking about Suicide Squad Kills, the Justice League game that just came out. A lot of people, there's a lot of backlash on how they did Batman in that game. No spoilers because I haven't read anything about it, but people are saying if that's the last that Kevin Conroy did, they don't want that to be the way he goes out. So hopefully there's going to be another project that comes out.
I mean, I just like...
I don't think that was his last project is what I'm saying.
That seems incredibly emotional decision.
Yeah.
Which you decide for yourself what you're going to do, but he's an actor playing a role. And unfortunately he passed away, so there's no do-over on a new role.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. Like, it's sort of like if someone... I mean, Heath Ledger passed away. His last role was the Joker. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, we don't get to see him in a role where he's a good guy, but Kevin Conroy is a wonderful actor.
Well, and you have so much other content to consume of him being
so you
the
can
most
go,
iconic Batman.
You
honestly.
literally can just go back and watch that as a palate cleanser.
Yeah. And I know we want more good guy Kevin Conroy because, again, Conroy for so many of us is Batman. He is the defuncto Batman for so many of us. And when you so intrinsically tie an actor to a role, it's really hard to separate. It's really hard to accept somebody else in there. But especially with the rise of voice duplication, AI, those sorts of things too, I don't want them to try to shoehorn his voice into something else.
Well,
I don't find that respectful to him.
I believe they still have Crisis on Infinite Earths or something like that, an animated movie that's coming out.
Okay.
So that's why then they still get their wish.
Yeah, they
because-
still could get that.
Yeah.
But yeah, go back and watch some amazing Paul Dini animated series stuff, Have a good time.
Okay.
right.
Well, that's trending
Justice
too,
League
trailer.
Unlimited, hello.
Looks crazy.
Yeah.
I
we
just
go.
finished it. I'll
See-
watch it again.
CJ Rebirth says, I'm seeing a bit why the creators of the OG Airbender show left Netflix. The stuff they're changing about Sokka was important to his development.
Oh, and it's Sokka.
Yeah.
Sokka.
Yeah. Sokka is how M. Night Shyamalan produced it. Pronounced
Ew.
it. And it was
And he did a bad
it was
version.
not
I
it
said
was
the
not
bad
super
version
good.
kind.
That's okay though. It's phonetically that's what
I better
it looks
have
like.
more coffee.
Isn't there
You
something that deals with this character where his is it because they feel that he needs to get fleshed out more?
Maybe. I mean, again, I need to see this whole show. The Sokka character in the animated series, for the most part, is comedic relief, but also then struggles as the member of Team Avatar who's not a bender. And so he's a regular kid who was one of the lone warriors left in his tribe because all the men went off to go fight. And so he was a kid trying to play soldier for so long. And then, like all these other individuals, they're thrust into a very real world scenario where adults will kill them, where he doesn't get to play soldier anymore. He has to be one. And he has to learn about actually training and actual discipline. And he goes on his own quest that is quite well fleshed out, in my opinion, in the animated series. So I'm interested to see what they change here, but I feel like it's probably going to be pretty good. But hey, I got to watch it.
Yeah, because it's like, how do we know what they're changing?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I don't
Yeah.
really understand that.
And
Whatever.
from the trailers, it looks like I'm getting the Sokka that, I know and love.
And not the Sokka.
Yeah. And maybe they're not having him, go a little cuckoo on cactus juice. Who knows? Hope they do. Hope they have these kids hallucinate on cactus juice.
Yeah,
Love that
right.
shit.
Okay, I see what I'm reading some news that's coming out about this.
Oh, yeah?
I guess he turns in the original, he's a little sexist. Is this what I don't want to get into it, but that's what the
he does
headlines
have a
are
thing
saying.
where he goes to meet these warriors, the Kyoshi warriors, and he, in that, learns that he shouldn't be sexist because these warrior girls kick his ass, and he learns some of the best fighting stuff from them. So, I mean, maybe they'll change some of that stuff.
Yeah, well, so there's
But we don't
But-
even know. No one's
Retooling.
seen it yet.
And I think it's perfectly okay too if it's, hey, maybe we don't have Sokka have to come to that realization. It's great in the show, but I think if that's something that changes, and if you're bummed out about a character being less sexist, I don't know how to feel about that.
Look, not just with Avatar, times have changed. I mean, if you go back to The Office, the beginning episodes, the beginning seasons, there's a lot of stuff that wouldn't air now. You know what I mean? Or it would not be smart for them to do things like that. It's just something that, these shows have, and these characters have to evolve with the times if they're going to actually, hit
Stay
more
modern
people.
and
yeah,
stay-
stay
Yeah.
I'm not saying to take out the root of the original, but sometimes there's certain things where we do have to be better about it, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, obviously times change because, like, if we were still setting back to the 50s, then our husbands and wives in shows would be sleeping in twin beds.
Yep.
So, I mean, obviously times change.
Yeah.
So let's hope.
Do you know
it
who the
works
first
out.
couple is who slept in a bed together?
Was it the Brady
honeymooners?
Bunch or what was
Fred
it?
and Wilma Flintstone.
Oh.
Yeah.
Those dirty
Wow,
I
cavemen.
know.
you are full of useless facts.
I'm full of so many useless facts.
Dirty
you know how much math I
caveman.
could know? I could be so good at taxes. I could have learned money by now, but instead, this is where we're at.
Thank you.
What else we got?
We got Michael. Did I do this one? No. Michael Brocky. Hey, hail gang. Chris, how do you how do you keep strong in the industry when everything seems to be going against you? Appreciate all you guys.
Yes, these are questions I like.
That's a great question, Michael. Yeah, especially right now because, you know, we, Patrick in the chat here said, so glad you failed, Chris. Me too, buddy. Me too. I'm so glad I was very average so I could be here with you. So how do we get through it when it feels like the industry is very against us? Well, right now, too, we just came off a strike. Because of that, we are going to have the smallest pilot season in history, in a long time at least, in a long, long time, because we're only greenlighting so many shows. Video games, we're still up for potentially doing a strike on that. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff happening. And honestly, the big thing is to remember your why. Remember why you get into something. And this is with anything. Any job you do, any art you do, is to remember why you get into it. For me, I really like telling stories. I really like the Fred Rogers approach to why people work in television. It is a service. It is a job of service. And your service is to stories. It's to helping people feel empathy. It's to
We
help
want to take a
put
second to thank a
light
spot-
on causes.
Sorry, guys. I just hit the Fume commercial button by reaching for something.
And it's to be sponsored by Fume.
I love how I hit that over your struggles.
And I hit that Fume and I hit it often. Yeah, that's just some of it. And also, I mean, when you say that when it feels like everything's against you, I think a lot of other artists, performers, writer, however, there's a lot of one-upsmanship and there's a lot of comparison. And for me, acting is, follow me on this journey, it's like swimming. You're in your lane and all you're trying to beat is your own time. No one else's time matters to you,
That's
right?
so great.
You have to go at your own pace and you can always only try to do your personal best. So am I doing better than I did the day before? And that's all you can measure because there's so few tangibles in this industry. So you got to just hang on to what you can. Hope that helps.
You know, that's a great answer. Like because that's what I always wondered. Like, especially with voice acting, you're there, you're just waiting for that spot, right? You know, waiting for that call up, and then sometimes maybe a new person comes and they get that role right away and things like that.
Yeah.
How do those things not make you just go, let me just do something? Or is it just the love
Well,
of...
I mean, we did establish that I don't have any other skills, Ray. So
No.
there's a big part of that.
But sometimes when you do something, right, and you're waiting for that big break, and then you'll see like actors maybe getting things that you could probably do it better.
Sure.
Or maybe newcomers.
I feel like that's an
it's
all
very
walks
it's
of
very
life,
it's
though.
very
Yeah.
it's and then just to keep going, I just saying
One-
that I am admire your willingness to stick with what you love doing is what I'm saying.
Oh, thank you.
You know what I mean?
Well,
So
I think too that it's just a slippery slope to get comparative. You know, anytime an actor gets something, it's such a win for everybody. Oh my gosh, like this amazing actor who is so much more qualified for this role than me because of like their own life experience or their aesthetic or their connection to this role. Like that's such a win for them. And I think, at least with my actor friends too, it's what's made us stick around. I have this great chat called The Character Actors, and it's me and two other actresses on it. And it's just this delightful thing of anytime somebody like books something, gets an audition, gets a callback, it's this huge celebration. And it's not like, oh, when Mia gets something that takes away from me, when Holly gets something that takes away from me, it's all of us being like, oh, fuck yeah. Any win is all of us getting closer to this. And it just reignites how much you love this shit.
no.
Because it's great and fun.
There you go. All right. We got Lavartov who says, how does the BBC like their coffee? Well,
Well, mine has rum today.
yours is orange juice, so that's how much
yeah.
you're loving your coffee.
Yeah.
I like my coffee today.
It's pretty good coffee.
Yeah, pretty good.
It's flammable.
Brian Davison writes, sending love from Melbourne, Australia. I know some people from Melbourne.
Ooh.
Great chat, Chris, Ray, and Jono. And they call me Jono, so that's definitely must be an Australian thing.
Yeah, Jono, like Bono.
So thank you, Brian. And then Dr. Stinky, what's your podcast, homie? Okay, well now you're just
Yeah.
screwing with us.
Listen.
No, what's your podcast?
What's your podcast, homie? I don't see anything wrong with the way I asked that. What's your
Wait,
podcast, homie?
unless that's the name of his podcast.
If it's not, it should be.
It should be.
Let's do a rebranding, Dr. Stinky. What's your
Let's do
podcast, homie, with Dr. Stinky?
All right, so we're gonna shift over here real quick to
Woo woo.
All right.
our wonderful members who get to send
Yay.
in some questions every day.
Well,
and
you know-
first off, yes.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so first off is Dominic, who writes, "Who would you say the better executed character is, Tom Hiddleston's Loki or Chris Hemsworth's Thor?"
Ooh.
I feel like there is no easy answer, but I feel like we'd probably lean towards Loki
Yeah.
and only because the last thing we saw of Thor, it was just kind of wacky.
Yeah.
But also all the time, I would say, it's hard to like frame this up, and so I'll go all the time where we see Loki and Thor's character, they're kind of going hand in hand.
Absolutely.
And then Thor got a little wacky at the end, and then Loki, to me, like peaked.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say he got to the finish line, and I'd go Loki.
But
I would go Ooh.
was
Whoa,
Loki
we got a lot of
supposed?
butts on there.
Yeah, but was
But-
Loki okay? Was Loki? Were we supposed to like Loki from the very beginning? We weren't supposed to like him, right?
Not
So maybe
necessarily.
we could say that maybe Tom Hiddleston played the
He had a
part
larger character arc.
in a weird way that may not have. We're supposed to hate him if he played the character, right? Right.
No, but well,
You know what
only,
I'm
the- only the
you
beginning.
get what I'm saying?
I feel like delicious villains, right? Villains that we really, really vibe with have charisma. They have a vibe to them that makes you go, oh, I can see why people would follow that. And also, you got to remember, too, a really well-written villain never sees themselves as the bad guy. Loki sees himself as fit to rule. He thinks that it is a kindness to make it so people don't have to think for themselves and that he can maintain order. Like, he thinks he's doing all the right stuff. He thinks he's so much more worthy than Thor, who's a party boy when we first meet him and, you know, a bit of a himbo. He thinks that he is destined for glorious purpose and should rule. And you see that in real life, too, with, you know, politicians, with people in power, all kinds of stuff of, I think that I'm absolutely doing the right thing. And that's always up to negotiation. Of course, in comic books, it's a bit more black and white of like, well, you know, you wanted to rule over people and we definitely made a Holocaust parallel here. So maybe you're in the wrong, Loki.
But
In
Tom
other words-
Hiddleston, like, was very fortunate with his character because
yeah.
because he got to take his character on a character arc twice through the entire Infinity Saga,
Yeah.
and then it was reset, and then through Loki, he hit a different that arc. He went even further in that arc in a shorter period of time.
Yeah.
So just as an actor, how fortunate to be able to do that.
Absolutely.
Great casting for both characters.
Oh,
I guess.
100%.
But
Their
short answer
chemistry
is
so
Loki.
good. Yeah. Yeah.
Jay Superboy says, "Hey guys, the great Lance Reddick performance was fantastic on the Percy Jackson finale, and that line, 'Do you dream of mom tears? Keep it filthy.'" So I haven't seen this, but just like Echo, Percy Jackson is also on Hulu. So that's another thing. If you don't watch this
Yes.
Disney Plus,
That's a good point.
some of their things are on. They cross over to Hulu.
Okay, I gotta finish the series on the weekend for sure. I haven't watched an episode since episode 3. It's just one of those things where I just keep forgetting. So that might be a bad thing. I hope. If you guys enjoyed it, you guys are keeping track of it. I'm just one of those weird people that even if I watch something and I like it, I might not finish it. It's just one of those things with me. I don't know.
Well, you know what? I can't fault you on that because as recently as House of the Dragon, I still have not watched the final episode.
Oh
of
my
House of the
God,
Dragon.
that's
I've watched everything but the final episode.
Unforgivable.
Unforgivable.
If I finished it, everyone's has to have finished.
All right, I'll do it. This
you're
next
not.
one is for Chris, but I think Ray could probably chime in too.
Okay.
From Callum, Chris, thoughts on Royal Rumble? Will Cody finally beat Roman Reigns?
If Cody doesn't beat Roman Reigns, I will be so furious. I've made this very clear on this show. I'm not a Roman Reigns fan. I think he has to always have somebody else help him sell. I think he always has to have somebody else come in and do something sneaky and underhanded to win the match. Cody needs to take it. I am so over Roman.
I agree with Cody winning it, but it appears there could be a chance he might not even face Roman. With the CM Punk injury and their plans, I don't envy what they have to do right now in such a short amount of time. I believe there could be a possibility that Cody doesn't even face Roman. He faces Seth. And then so we could have that Rock versus Roman, which means if Roman keeps the title for one more year, it better be Cody who beats him. That's the only person I want beating Roman at this point. And maybe even if they hold it off a year, I want Cody to be the one that beats him. It would just make a great story that some kid who was someone's son who the WWE fired a long time ago worked his way back up. Everyone loves him. I love Cody. I just hope he gets it. Someone deserving needs to beat Roman, not The Rock. I'm sorry, Rock. I love you, but someone who's been there, who's going to be there, needs to beat Roman, and I believe that should be Cody.
Well, there you go. My Comic Planet writes, did you hear about the 40 people who got locked in a theater during a screening of The Holdovers? It was a great movie, by the way. After employees forgot they were in there. John, you worked at AMC. How does this happen? Well,
John?
I don't know if John has anything to do with it.
John cut too?
But I guess it could happen. I mean, the weird thing, though, that I think of it is they should have an emergency exit.
Yeah.
So you should be able to just pop out there. But also in a situation like that, don't panic. Your cell phones work.
No. Trust me. That's what I told myself. I am an actual survivor.
You're not going to survive from panicking.
No. I'm a survivor from being locked in a place. I was working at a Toys R Us.
Okay. That seems like a great place to get locked in.
Trying to be, during Christmas time, Toys R Us was a mess, right? People go through shelves, people have toys. My second night working there, I said, I love getting stuff done. I put my headphones on.
Special coffee here.
I put my headphones on. My headphones on, music up loud, started straightening the shelf. A couple 15 minutes later, I started noticing it's a lot quiet in here. And I take off my headphones and I realized they locked me in. And all my nightmares about these little baby dolls on the wall started blinking in my head. I ran to the back because that's usually where people who stay late are. Nobody. I freaked out because I was just new there. I didn't know anyone's phone number. Didn't know anything. I walked to the front and just tried to squeeze the sliding doors open. And that's when
I'm surprised you didn't set off an alarm.
Every alarm that could ever be played in the Toys R Us.
There you go. You got out there.
Went off. And my boss came with his pajamas on. He's like, I got a notification that the doors opened on my clothes. And I just became the greatest employee from that moment on ever. That was the myth, the legend.
The Ray Aura.
The one who got locked in the Toys R Us. And I want to do a horror film based on that experience. Just kidding.
I literally, that would have been my childhood dream. I
would have
been playing with toys.
It would have been, except the way we set up these dolls and the quietness, just hearing the music playing from my earphones because I played it loud, in my pocket because I didn't press stop. It just got eerie all of a sudden.
Stop the music.
You hear everything that falls, that move, whatever in that building when you're by yourself. I swear. It was probably my mind.
It was.
The back part of the whole building, the lights were off. So where the shipping area is.
So that's all dark.
And you look
spooky,
back there, that's Freddy's already right there. Because I'm not walking back in there.
You couldn't get into the back shipping to go out?
I called. I said, hey, is anyone in here? And I didn't want anything to respond to me. It was frightening. I love Toys R Us, but
a little girl just
it's
screams,
the biggest nightmare
shrieks.
ever. Yeah, so I don't know how that happened at AMC when you have a big group of people.
Yeah, I don't know.
Obviously, the employees should have heard the screen and the music or whatever from the film. They didn't. Look, that must say something about the employees, just wanting to get out of work. Maybe you're overworking them. I don't know.
I don't know
what I mean?
But don't panic. Just call 911. They'll call.
They have
theater
their
and they'll come
emergency
and let
exits
you
though,
out.
right? So
They should. So that's a little weird to me. But anyway, we have time for a couple more.
I'm sorry
here.
for that story. Just
So Carmel says, looks like Madam Web is wed for a low box office indeed, but look at all of our emojis.
Ooh, so many.
Yes.
Oh, look at all of us.
But yeah, I mean.
Oh, wait, scroll back up. That's the closest I get to see Rob these days.
Oh.
There he is.
Hi, buddy.
Yeah, he's probably
Right next to
tweeting
Euro
something.
Pussy where he belongs.
Oh, there he is.
Aw.
Oh, I bet you so many people don't know what Europussy is.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's not tell.
New watchers, they're gonna find out someday.
Deep cuts.
Yeah. Go back and watch some of our old episodes.
And buy that Dune popcorn bucket.
So Lexi writes, "Hi John and crew, have you tried out the new Avatar Frontiers of Pandora game yet? If so, what do you think? Have any of you played that Avatar game?
No.
I haven't either.
I'm dying to try.
I haven't had time to play anything.
I'm dying to try it. It's just I'm very picky about what games I purchase right now. It's because I don't know how long I'm going to be playing them. But if there's a demo, I'm going to definitely play that. I hope if you try that, I hope you like it. It looked okay to me for an Avatar game based on a movie. We don't get a lot of good based on a movie games. You know what I mean? Like usually they're just thrown there as like an afterthought, like a quick money grab. But this one looks like they put a little bit more work than the usual, I think, of the games based on movies. Yeah, so that's it. And hi, I pledge allegiance to the flag. What's going on here, guys?
You don't got anything else to say?
Yeah, that's it. I was trying
That's
to
all right.
looking at
That's
you.
good.
So next question, probably a final question for the day. Drew writes, which movie do you think will win the R-rated box office this year, Joker 2 or Deadpool 3? Love to hear your thoughts. Love the show. So I would tend to say Joker 2 because Joker did make over $1 billion, right?
Yeah.
But let's just bring that up real quick just to confirm. Joker 2019.
Yeah,
Yeah,
did make-
1,078 million.
And you know what's crazy about that billion?
Neither of the Deadpools have. They were in the 700 million range.
You know what's crazy about the Joker billion?
Uh-huh.
Is there's a lot of people that I talked to that said, it's good. I'll never go back and watch it again.
Yeah, so that's a lot of people who went. And
That's
saw
a lot of money for not multiple viewers.
Yeah.
Not having a lot of multiple viewers.
I think
one
I
of
only
those.
saw it once. I mean, I would have, but
It
I
was
just
once is enough for me. I'm good.
That's an
I
outstanding
typically
thing to
don't
accomplish.
see movies more than once though. In the
Oh,
theater.
I mean, I don't know who to put that on. But okay, I'm gonna go back to this Deadpool 3 because I didn't have enough time to speak or any time to speak on it.
Well, you're
yesterday.
talking about dolls
about
and-
the saving the
and Toys R
MCU
Us.
thing real quick.
Uh-huh.
Just real quick. Deadpool 3, I believe, is not gonna save the MCU. It's just gonna put it in a position. I've always believed this Deadpool 3 is gonna be it's gonna write all the or like erase, give it a slate where it could work with again.
The problem is that when you say stuff like that, one movie can't do that because the follow-up Captain America has to be good.
Yeah.
Thunderbolts has to be good. So like you have to then have a good track record. You know, we all liked the Spider-Man movie, No Way Home, but then you have to keep going with that.
Yeah.
So when they say Deadpool's gonna like change everything and everyone's gonna go back, well, no, because if then the movies suck again, then they're not.
I just believe it's going to put Marvel in a better position to succeed. I believe that's what the movie is going to do. And as far as I'm concerned, the only way to save the MCU is not to rely on people like me who enjoyed the first 10 years, like or enjoyed like up to Endgame.
Yeah.
Because after Endgame, I was tired of the MCU. I needed a break. I didn't care about skipping things. I think they really need to position the MCU to like grab the attention of the next generation of kids.
Absolutely.
Because that's who's going to keep this going. Me, as far as I'm concerned, I've had my fill of MCU. I don't care if they have another good movie again because I had those that I only skipped 2 movies in the theaters. That was Guardians 2 and Ant-Man and the Wasp. Everything I went to. Everything. And I had a great ending. And that's why after Endgame I was like, I need a break. The only thing I watched was WandaVision. I skipped everything else.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care about skipping. Skipping other things now. It's not me who they really need to latch on to this next phase. It's the next kids because there's some kids
That's
who
a
didn't go through
very,
it.
very good point, Ray.
That's
I
what
think
I'm saying.
well
They need to
said.
position themselves to grab the attention of them. Because me, you could get me anytime you want. Century movie, I'm back.
Don't wear a
Hell
trench
yeah.
coat.
I'm back. Blade movie, I'm back. You don't need to worry
Well,
about my money.
Blade.
It's the next kid's money. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So,
And it needs to
Well,
be
I think it needs to be a
inclusive.
culmination of most of us and then the next kids, because
Right.
you still otherwise it's not enough money.
because in the first phase of the what we went through is they gave time to the people who needed time. All their solo movies, they didn't worry about the finish line.
Yeah,
They worried
yeah.
about the journey there, and
Exactly.
they got exactly
That's
the
a good
best
point.
stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the problem with I think with these Sony with their Spider-Man universe. They're looking at Endgame and going, "I want that. I want that result." And I feel they are just trying to get to that point, And
They want to
you're
get
gonna
there,
get
and it's like, dude, you
nowhere.
didn't build anything.
Exactly.
You're gonna
You
get
gotta earn
nowhere if no one cares about the characters
Yeah.
that you're craving.
That's an
Madam
excellent
Web,
point.
this and that. Worry about the journey. Let us respond to it, and that's what the Marvel needs too.
Mm-hmm.
They're throwing these characters in cameos, and then give us 2 lines about them, and then we're supposed to care about them. Supposed to want to see a full movie on them.
Yeah.
Let's get us focused on every character. Give them their little thing, and then we'll have team whatever. I don't even know who's on the deal right now.
Yeah.
Because before we had Team Thor.
Yeah.
You're Team Captain America. Yeah, I'm Team Iron Man. And we couldn't wait to see them work together. We were just all jonesing, and then when they gave us that,
Yeah.
we got 3-4 more movies of that, of just that joy.
The problem is once you get that, then at the very end they're like, oh, and then this is team so and so, and then
Now
they run
it's
off
like-
on another thing. It's like, well, what about these 3 things
Yeah.
that were going on?
Yeah, like with Rob is saying, who are we even supposed to care
But I
about?
mean, we
Who
diverged
do you want
from the
us to
question,
focus on?
which is going to do the $1 billion? Deadpool
Oh, I'm sorry.
3
I
or
just had
Joker
to say that.
2.
I had,
So-
rum.
So
happened.
Joker 2, I think probably
Has
has
the
established
potential.
that it's been there. If it's as good or better, then sure. But I think it's going to be like coming down from that.
Yeah.
And then Deadpool has never made $1 billion, but now it's in the MCU and it has Wolverine.
I'm pulling
And
for
it's our
Deadpool
only
2.
Marvel
I'm
release.
Deadpool 3.
So I'm going Deadpool 3, even
I'm
though
pulling
normally
for
I would
Deadpool
not.
3.
I think Joker 2 having this kind of musicality, having some potentially like highbrow concepts mixed in there too. And Joker is a very Elseworlds film. Regardless of if you're like me and you kind of weren't super into it, but you understood the merit, or if you were really, really into it, it's not your typical superhero fare. And even though it did do $1 billion, I think because this one is being pitched already as a bit more auteur, a bit more surreal and cerebral, that might isolate a few people. Or
And
maybe
plus
just
they
people
never
who are very convinced that this is a musical, you know,
Right,
because it's
right.
not. There's music involved in it, and there's some kind of shared madness moments is how it's being pitched. But I think Deadpool, again, because of that very, very slim slate and no other Marvel movies, I think that's going to get a bunch of people to go to that.
And plus, I heard the sequel wasn't even planned. This wasn't
It
like
wasn't.
a plan.
Not at first,
And
no.
that's usually not a good.
Yeah. Well, it's not planned
hope for
from the
best.
first one,
We'll
yeah.
hope for the best. So,
But they've
but
had
I
a lot of time to work on it.
Yeah.
And it is talented people, but I agree with you.
I think Deadpool 3 is going to be the big hitter next
Yeah.
year.
Yep.
So
So
we
there you
got
go.
it.
And that's that.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for asking so many wonderful questions. And we had stuff to talk about. And they were really thoughtful, cool questions. We appreciate that. Hopefully tomorrow John will be back if he's doing
Yeah.
well enough.
Yeah,
Otherwise-
Depends on if his voice is there or not.
Yeah,
so.
you kind of got to be able to talk to do a talk show.
Yeah.
It's weird like that. So thank you for sticking with your Batman Beyond crew. We always love to have you here with us. We'll catch you next time. Be kind out there. I want to thank Ray Ora.
Stay dry if you're in California, buddy.
I want to thank Jonathan Voico.
Stay out of locked Toys R Us's.
And I want to thank me. No, I was just trying my best.
Thank yourself. Thank yourself.
Thank your coffee for
girl.
making it
Thank
through
my
the day
coffee for
and the
helping me
week.
get through this. And I'm going to have a little bit more of it. Have a great day. Be kind. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.